Dating multiple men to end loneliness. What do you want to do? Nothing that involves you and me. It's just a date. That's all. My wife had clearly lost her mind over the past few hours. I was stunned at her suggestion. So, let me work this out in my feeble little brain. At this comment, she cringed. You want to go on a date with a man who is not your husband? She was beginning to look displeased with my tone and the suggestion that what she was suggesting was somehow inappropriate. It's just a night out with a friend, dinner at a restaurant, and maybe dancing afterward. That's all. So this friend can't have a date with a woman who isn't married? That's not true, Carl. So tell me exactly what it looks like. I wanted to know what my favorite wife of 3 years was talking about. He moved here a few months ago and hasn't met many people outside of work. He's lonely, and he wants to get out and do something different. Just for fun. What nonsense. Oh, well, if that's all it's about, why not just invite him here to our next neighborhood party? Well, I think he's a little shy. Not shy enough to not invite a married woman to go out with him. He's a very nice man, and I think he just needs to spend some time with another person in a social setting. And I need to go out once in a while, too, since it seems like all you do is work. You do know that all my work has been focused on building up our savings so we can start that family we've been talking about, right? Of course I know. It's just that you're gone so often, and when you're here, you have one-on-one meetings, and even when you're home, you spend a lot of time on your laptop. Why can't you spend time with me? Obviously, this problem had been brewing in my wife for some time now and had culminated in this date with her new friend. I got up, went to the kitchen, and got a beer out of the fridge. Pouring the IPA into one of my favorite glasses, I sat down at the table. In a very quiet voice, I asked, "Why didn't you tell me about this before?" "You were never here to tell me anything." And what is this defense? Am I absent too much? Why aren't I here? Well, you never seem to be home. You're gone almost every week for a few days. We never talk. We never spend time together or do anything together. Sometimes I get lonely. Her voice became very quiet at the end of her last statement. Loneliness was the real reason why my wife was looking to meet other men. I had failed in our relationship with her, but she had also failed. The solution to our problems was not to find solace in the company of other men on dates with them. So because you're lonely, you want to date other men. Did I get that right? You don't have to talk about it in such a sordid. It's just dinner and maybe some dancing. And a few drinks and maybe other things that will go further. She replied very quietly, I guess. Yeah, that's how dating happens. My brain was working at 1,000,000 miles a minute, and I was trying to formulate a plan to deal with my wife and her plan to cure her loneliness by dating other men. Nothing good was going to come of this. I needed a plan, and fast. I took a big sip of beer, and in a flash, my plan began to take shape. Paula, when are you planning on going on a date with your new boyfriend? Thursday, when you have mountain bike night. And he's not my boyfriend. He's just a friend, that's all. On Thursdays, I went mountain biking with the club I belonged to. You could see that she thought that if I was busy doing something else, it would matter less to me. Yeah, that's right. I got up, stepped away from my wife, and went to take a shower. Suddenly, I felt like this whole discussion had gotten me dirty. The following Thursday, I talked to Paula one last time and tried to convince her that dating another man was not good for our marriage. I tried to convey to her that it would not end well. She brushed off my feelings and stuck to her opinion that it was just dinner and maybe a little dancing, and that I was making a big deal out of it. She left for her date. I went to the bike meet and tried to forget about it. It didn't help at all. I got distracted and took last place that night. But I added a little more to my plan to deal with Paula's date plans. What was good for her could be good for me. A good old-fashioned idea. 2 weeks later at breakfast, as I was grabbing a bagel and coffee, I told Paula that I was going out Tuesday night. I didn't say why or where I would be walking or any other details. Finally, Paula's curiosity got the better of her and she asked what I was going to do. I didn't answer her anything as I put the dirty dishes in the dishwasher and went to brush my teeth before leaving for work. I hurried out the door and headed to work. Ever since Paula started dating her new boyfriend, the situation at home had been a little tense. We've been socializing less and it hasn't really come to sex. I hardly ever touched her. On Tuesday, when I got home, I went to the bedroom and changed into casual clothes. After sitting at my laptop for a few minutes, I sent a couple text messages and then grabbed my keys to head out the door. Paula looked at me with her mouth ajar. She asked, "What time will you be home?" "Probably late, so don't wait up." I walked out the door. I had fun that night. I was dating a woman from my mountain biking club. I had known her for about 2 years and knew she was single, but she had several different boyfriends. I asked her out, and surprisingly, she said yes. I knew that in our conversation, the issue of me being married might come up, so I decided to be honest and forthright in my answers. Sure enough, after the pleasantries were cleared away, Diane asked the key question, "What's going on with your wife?" I gave her the middle version of events and told her that since Paula had seen what she was missing, I thought it was only fair that I do the same. Diane laughed, and I told her that if my situation was too awkward for her, I would understand. She asked if Paula knew I was going on dates, and I said that I hadn't specifically told her that, but she would either be excited to increase my dating schedule or upset and realize what she was doing to our relationship and marriage. Either way, my plan was to push things along and see what happens. We had a good time. Mini golf and Italian food is always fun and delicious. At the end of the evening, I was kissed and told that if I wanted to get together again, I would call her. 2 nights later, I was at a mountain bike club event, and Paula was on another date with her boyfriend. She got home around 3 in the morning. I was in bed sleeping when I heard the front door open and close. Paula quietly snuck inside, went to take a shower, and then slid into bed. I rolled over and lay with my back to her. The next morning, we didn't speak until we left for work. I realized the end was near. A few months later, lately work has had me traveling a lot. I spent several weeks mostly on the road, auditing and consulting for several clients. When I returned home, I often found myself in an empty house. Paula was often not home. My own social life was sporadic due to work travel, so I made a few decisions. When I saw Paula, it was 2 days after I got home, I realized that she was spending a lot of time with this what's-his-name. I wasn't surprised. It was time for phase 2 of my plan. Phase 2 of my grand plan was simple: move out. I started by cleaning out my closet and donating some things I hadn't used in a while. A few black trash bags of stuff went in the back of my SUV to Goodwill. I picked up a few plastic bins of things I wanted to keep and took them to the garage. I wrote down a few pieces of furniture I wanted, my wheeled desk that I bought at an antique store, and moved them into the garage. There were also a couple of larger items that I left in place until moving day. When Paula showed up, we talked for a few minutes. She asked how long I would be staying at the house until the next move-out. I replied that I didn't know exactly. She nodded and turned away. No one asked each other anything personal. It was as if we were strangers in the same house. The next day, I went apartment hunting and found a very nice 1-bedroom apartment in a new building with large floor-to-ceiling windows, a balcony, and a great view. The building has a gym, indoor pool, and underground parking. This would be perfect for me in the short term. I signed a 1-year lease. The next day, I got the keys and started moving my stuff in. I enlisted the help of a few friends, one of whom has a Silverado truck, and moved my desk and a few other things. Paula. When I got home, I noticed that Carl's Subaru Outback was not in the garage. I knew he was away, but I thought he might be back by now. I went into the bedroom to change after work. I expected Carl to be home. I needed to talk to him about some things. This whole dating other people thing had gotten complicated, and I needed to talk about it. I wasn't sure if the benefits were worth the price I'd have to pay. I had hardly seen Carl the last few months, and when he was home, he spent almost all of his time out of the house. He hadn't said a word to me, let alone touched me. Being with Dave wasn't exactly what I'd hoped for. After the first couple of dates, all he wanted was sex. The excitement that comes with dating has all but disappeared. We don't go anywhere at all, and all he wants is for me to get naked, and then he can have sex with me. I started to make something to eat, and noticed a large brown envelope with my name on it on the counter. It was from a law office. I stopped what I was doing and opened it. There were several pages stapled together, with a small blue cardboard triangle in the upper left corner, and on top of the papers was a white envelope with my name handwritten on it, and I was sure it was Carl's handwriting. I opened it first and pulled out a single piece of paper. It was a handwritten letter. Paula, just in case you didn't understand my concerns about you seeing other men, I want to let you know that I've moved out, and the papers in the large envelope are divorce papers. You've made it very clear to me that I'm not the guy you want to marry, and I have to tell you that you're not the woman I want to be married to. When you first told me you wanted to date other men, I thought it was a joke. But you quickly made it clear that you were very serious. I now know that my job and the amount of time it took away from my home was likely the main factor that led to your decision to seek companionship and sex elsewhere. For that, I apologize. I thought that all the work I was doing was benefiting you and I and allowing us to build up savings so that we wouldn't have to save for a family later on. I was wrong. You taught me that if dating is good for you, it can be good for me. Thank you for that important lesson. I knew I needed to keep my social life separate from you, and that meant that you and I were not destined to stay married. We hadn't been intimate with each other in months, and I checked to make sure I hadn't gotten any surprises from you the last 2 times we'd had sex. You'll be happy to know that the doctor's report came back negative, so I took everything I wanted, and you can do whatever you want with the rest. Please sign the divorce papers and return them to my attorney's office. You can assign them to your own attorney. The decision is yours. I have informed the company we are renting the house from that I am no longer there, so you can stay or move. Again, your choice. Please don't call me or text or email me. I am not interested in retelling events. You have poisoned that pond. It's time to put a stop to this marriage and move on. Good luck with your boyfriend. I found out his name is Dave or something like that. I hope you find happiness with him. Carl. I planned to stop seeing Dave and make it up to Carl. I pulled the remaining papers out of the envelope and saw that Carl's engagement ring was in the envelope as well. Carl. I didn't put it in the letter, but I found a white plastic pregnancy test wrapped in toilet paper in the bathroom trash can. It came back positive. Dave's boyfriend was going to be a father. Good for him. A few months later. I'll get it, Diane said in response to a phone call announcing that someone was in the lobby and wanted to come up. After hanging up, she turned to me and said, "It's someone who wants to see you." Who? I'm not sure you want to see her. I stopped what I was doing and set aside the wooden spoon I was stirring spaghetti sauce with. Why now? I immediately thought to myself. It was probably bound to happen sooner or later. Let her in. When Diane opened the door, she was a little taken aback by the sight. I wiped my hands on a tea towel and walked around the corner into the hallway. There stood a very pregnant Paula. She was looking at a very pregnant Diane. Now it's time for the joke. A 40-year-old woman with no clothes on was jumping on the bed, laughing and singing. Her husband walks into the bedroom and sees her. He observed her for a while and said, "You look ridiculous. What are you doing?" "I just had a checkup and the doctor said I have the breasts of an 18-year-old girl." She starts laughing and jumping again. "Yeah, sure. What did he say about your 41-year-old body?" "Your name never came up," she replied. The end. Subscribe to my channel. Thank you.